I'm Russ Rapp, and welcome to my YouTube channel about non-duality. I've done a lot of reflecting since the video that I made yesterday, and I came up with a simple way to understand the mechanisms of the mind in relation to non-duality. Before I get into that, I just want to say that non-duality isn't something you can really explain. It's difficult for me to really express something that really is not something that you can explain. And so you can kind of point in the direction of, or come up with analogies or other ways to describe the essence of non-duality, but ultimately it's difficult to explain the unexplainable. And so I don't want to make these YouTube videos where I'm just copying what other speakers say or memorizing some sort of cliche lines that I just repeat over and over again, because I think that's fine and it can work for some people, but you're not necessarily going to connect with what I say. You may connect with what another non-dual speaker says, and so I want to say it in my own voice that makes sense to me, that maybe will make sense to you. And so that's where I'm coming from when it comes to making these videos, because the difficult part is not non-duality, because non-duality doesn't need to be explained. It is what is. It's just finding the right words to communicate some of these ideas in relation to non-duality. So what is the simple way that you can really use when you get stuck in a certain mindset? It kind of reflects back to when I was in school, and this idea of when you're learning English, and the idea of "you understood." And so when you give a command like, bring me that, or do the dishes. Yeah, that's a good one to command. When you say a command, the "you" is implied, and I wrote down the actual definition that I found online just so I can be clear with what I'm saying for "you understood." So you understood means the unstated subject of a command sentence where it is assumed the subject is the person to whom the command is directed. The unstated subject of a command sentence where it is assumed the subject is the person to whom the command is directed. So what that means essentially is the "you" is implied, and in the example I wanted to give to kind of highlight what that means is this idea that you are being lived by life. Life is living through you, not you living life. And what is implied in that statement, or that idea, is that life is living through you. And so in that sentence, life is the subject and you are the object, and being lived is, the verb in that statement. And so a different way to say it, because "you" can be confusing, because who is you in this statement? So let's just use Russ Rapp as an example. Life is being lived through Russ Rapp. So Russ Rapp is the object of the sentence. And so that means the "you" is a subject that is acting upon Russ Rapp. And so when that's the case, the "you" becomes another concept or idea or thing in and of itself. And so the idea that there's some life that's living creates a separation between Russ Rapp, or you, and life. And so life is some other being, other entity, whatever concept, God, that you want to use is a subject, and you are the object. So when it comes to non-duality, I think really the way you can think about it is everything is verbing. And there's other speakers that have said something similar to that. So life is verbing, but there is no object in that sense. And so when it comes to non-dual, there is a verbing, and life is an objectless subject. So there is no object to the subject. So the subject stands alone and is one in this chaos that we call life. So anytime there is an object and a subject, there is a separation. So non-duality is kind of emphasizing the idea of an objectless subject. Life is verbing without an object. And so to put it in more of a direct context, so have you ever, if you're considering the concept of being in the present moment, so like here now, so I'm here now, there's probably moments that you can remember where you're not present. So let's say you're stuck in your thoughts, or you're worrying about what's going to happen, or you're thinking about what did happen, and you're feeling these feelings of anger or shame or regret, and maybe you walk into a wall or something happens because you're distracted or you're not paying attention to what's actually happening in and around you. So maybe you're focused inward on your thoughts, and so that can get a sense that can feel like you're disconnected from what's happening in the present moment. And let me ask you this: have you felt that? If you're not feeling that right now, maybe you feel really connected to all that is. Have you felt that in the past? And if you felt that in the past, ask yourself, do you have any control over that, over what happened? Because that's gone. It's done. It's in the past. And so there's really nothing you can do to change that. And so essentially the past in this moment is inconsequential. It doesn't really have any meaning to this moment other than the meaning that you give it, because you can't change that. There's nothing you can do. You have no control over that. So I would ask you this as well, in this present moment, do you have any control over being connected, being present in this moment right now? Does life, the objectless subject, need you to be present? Did it need you in the past to be present? No, I think life got along just fine. So this idea of being present, being here now, although it can make you grounded in the moment, help you connect with others in your environment, be at peace, it's not necessary because you are not separate from life. Life has meaning because it ends. In other words, life has meaning because of death. So ask yourself this: what is there if life loses all meaning? If life becomes meaningless, what's left? And I'll leave you with one thing today. Read from the Bible, Numbers chapter 6, verse 24. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. So with that, until next time.